It honestly feels like we've reached a point in this season that we don't need to really pull from a bunch of different sources about opinions on Brock Purdy. It feels like the Brock Purdy narrative has been pushed to the side. We understand how good of a player he is. We still know what his limitations are, but that doesn't change the fact that he's a very, very good quarterback. So, all of these things being considered, we haven't heard much of anything about him, right? Like the season's over with, it's done with. You even had Cam Newton go on his podcast and say the 49ers didn't lose because of Brock Purdy. Brock played a good game, et cetera, et cetera. So even the guys who have kind of been out on Brock or kind of had a lot to say about Brock have been pretty quiet as well. I think it's been solidified with the Super Bowl performance, even in a loss, that Brock Purdy's a great quarterback, and he is deserving of the praise that he's gotten, and he's deserving of being a starter in this league, and especially the starter for the San Francisco 49ers. But to kind of put a bow on that, it's pretty, again, we've already heard from Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, when he's talked about Brock Purdy, talked about how Brock was ripping apart some of their scheme and they had to change it up and switch it up and make adjustments in that game because Brock was taking full advantage of it with how smart he is and his ability to attack certain things. So we've already heard that from Steve Spagnuolo. But again, he's like on a tour uh propping up Brock Purdy and just talking about how good he is to the point where Steve tracked down his Brock Purdy's number so that he could actually reach out to him and let him know how good he is. Like, that's pretty cool. I'll let you listen to it here directly as Steve Spagnuolo joined Peter Schrager on his podcast to talk about a bunch of different things, but this was one of the topics that was brought up. So take a listen from Steve himself, and we'll react further on the other side.
I think Brock Purdy, uh, I think he's terrific. And I'll tell
You
you, Pete,
watched, I mean, you watched all the games, and
yeah,
there's guys on TV, me included, who poke holes in Purdy's.
No,
but you got to watch the whole.
Yeah, I didn't find many. I tell you the other thing that stuck out was in those, so we play Tua, we play Josh Allen, we play Lamar Jackson, and you've got to worry about those guys always running the football. So now it's going to be San Francisco. We haven't watched a lot of film with them, so I don't really know them. Okay, it's a backup quarterback. Okay, maybe he's not a runner. Maybe we get a little break here. I turned the film on, and then he's ripping Green Bay and Detroit with a couple of, the run plays.
Oh,
that
the
were
third
really
down
critical.
against Detroit was insane.
Yeah. And I said, okay, here we go. We got another one. I'll be honest with you, Pete. I just texted Brock the other day. I tried to track down his cell number. I just wanted to tell him how much respect I have for him and what a terrific,
dude, I love
what a terrific game he played. I mean, and he's such a quality guy, strong Christian man, and I respect all of that, and I'm happy for all his success. I'm glad he didn't have quite the real good game.
One of the underrated elements of this portion of what Steve had to say was the fact that he went into the tape believing that, like, oh, we got a pocket quarterback. We got a guy who's a statue back there who's just going to play from within the pocket, and then realizes after watching, some key moments in both the Detroit and Packers game, like, oh, this guy can actually hurt you with his legs. And it's funny because Brock never gets credit for that, but he's shown it since day one. Since he entered the game against Miami, he's shown that he has ability to escape the pocket. The thing with Brock is he's not a scrambler. Can he scramble? Absolutely he can. But he's got that Russell Wilson attribute to him where he's going to escape the pocket to throw downfield. He is not looking to run. He is looking to run to throw. He is always looking for that. So he doesn't use that ability very often because he's keeping his eyes downfield and he's trying to find open targets. So with Brock, it's something that we've seen since the very beginning. You go to his first start against the Tampa Bay Bucks. He had a rushing touchdown up the middle on a collapsing pocket. He's shown that he can run from the very beginning. It's just people have this narrative, this like idea of what Brock is built up in their head. And to be honest, it's funny to see those walls come falling down, just because of where he was drafted and his how he looks and all those different types of things. But man, again, the main point of emphasis here is when the football guys get into the tape, they have nothing but good things to say about Brock. So that's where we've stood this whole time. That's why we've been so adamant about, defending Brock and giving him his rightful credit, dating all the way back to training camp. Again, this was a disgusting narrative, even in the 49ers community at training camp. So it's been something that we've been a part of for a while now. And so, again, this feels kind of like the cherry on top of this whole saga, starting with training camp. And just the constant doubt, the constant narrative spinning surrounding Brock Purdy. And again, the coach that has now won 4 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator just gives nothing but respect to Brock and heaps nothing but respect onto Brock to the point where he tracked down his number so he could reach out to him and let him know how good of a player he really is because he respects him that much. Dude, that's huge. That is huge. So that's why if you hear any, apparently there's like some Kirk Cousins rumors out here that's just pure speculation. Doesn't matter, dude. They have their quarterback. The 49ers would be foolish to move off Brock Purdy for Kirk Cousins. For why? For what reason? Oh, you just to spend more money? Just to spend more money on a quarterback who's going to do less? Like, I would say Kirk might have a little bit more alive of an arm, but he ain't moving like Brock. Not even close. That's a statue right there. That's a statue. So Brock's our guy. The 49ers would be ridiculously foolish to move off of him, especially at this stage in the game. And especially under the terms in which he's playing under. He's on a rookie deal for another year. That is extremely valuable. And he is getting a full offseason for the first time as the starter where he's not rehabbing, at least to our knowledge. And that's huge, man. That is absolutely huge for Brock Purdy. So, hey, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that people see the talent, and I'm happy that I don't see anyone bickering about him. I'm happy that I don't see any, oh, we need to go get another quarterback. We need to draft this guy. We need to sign this guy. It's because they know. They know that Brock's the real deal, just like Kyle Shanahan told us not that long ago. What do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.